Early days growing up in Ingham, in a sugarcane town, fishing and hunting and gathering and riding my BMX. I can remember growing up and my mum would always bring battered wives home from domestic violence, and so we learned to share in our house with other children, just sharing what we had. Dad, he loved the outdoors, he loved hunting and gathering, he loved teaching us boys how to be good men.
What's the turtle name? Hey, what's the Aboriginal name? Juru.
I always wanted to have 10 children. I had 7 of my own, adopted 4, my nephews and nieces, and reared 3 of my sister's children up. Just to have a big family is, your household's always noisy, it's laughter, and time flies when you have a big family. Awesome, I loved it. I loved every day of it. Just knowing that children were in a safe home. My grandmothers and my mums all went through stolen generation, so they're always separated, and I try to do with this generation is to keep all our family together. Got a granddad to teach us some boxing. And in the wetlands we have a lot of cultural heritage sites, mitten beds, cave paintings, scarred trees and fish traps. My job is to revegetate and try and bring this country back to its original inhabitants.
See how they're rebuilding it? All the structures right there.
Yeah.
The work I've done with Gary is a lot to do with preservation, protection of the land. He has a real connection to this land and his pride, and it just pours out of him.
As a young lad, I always loved drawing and painting, so when I finished school, I went to art school and got an associate diploma in commercial art. I've painted many murals in North Queensland towns. I've done a lot of workshops with children.
He's very passionate about getting kids off the street and focused into sports. In any size, race or shape, he's always been there to help kids out. My daughters, we have a special bond, especially my first daughter, who I delivered her straight into my hands, and when I spun her around, all I seen was a reflection of myself in the shape of a little girl. There and then I knew that I had to be a real good dad to protect her. My first daughter has been selected for the Australian Indigenous Under-12 netball team to Fiji and play against other Indigenous cultures from around the world. Keeping them active in sport teaches them respect and builds up their self-esteem. Boxing, well, mainly self-control and fitness and self-respect, respect for yourself and respect for other people. I like to drum into to the kids that I do teach is boxing is specifically for the sport and not to use anywhere else but within a gym, in that environment. My 2 eldest sons work in a community-based organisations where they can share what they've learnt just by being with myself and the lifestyle that they were brought up in.
Dealing with the kids I deal with as a police liaison officer, I do see the other side of the path where, you know, the family wasn't so there, or the father figure wasn't there, and they go out and they do silly things and commit crimes. And I just wish they did have their father like the old boy I had, even the grandfather and the good elders.
It is deeply satisfying for me to see my children to give back what they've learned over the years as children growing up in a remote community. That's my reward, is to see them strive in whatever they do, to see them become a better person.